Hello and welcome to Playing Standard with John. Not quite as good as Drafting with John, but it's what we're doing today. We're playing Standard and we're playing a Red Deck Gets There, which is the name I have given this deck, as it is pretty much what you'd expect a Red Deck wins to be. We've got, I'll just quickly talk you through the deck. Pretty simply, 4 Hellhounds, 4 Fervent Champions, a couple of Furor of the Bitten, an Infuriate to do just that, and a Weaselback. We've got a Shield Breaker for pesky artifacts. In the main, I think it's important. A bunch of Prophecies to cycle through cards and do a bit of damage. Rimrock Knights for that double spell situation. Robber of the Rich, essential part of this deck. Just one Royal Eruption can go face potentially. A bunch of Bonecrusher Giants, a couple of Annexes, a load of Phoenixes for their escape, nature, and their haste. A couple of Heraldic Banners, which I think have been really useful for us. Torbrands, 2 of those, and a couple of Embercleaves. Jury is out as to whether or not 4 Embercleaves is necessary. I'm sure everyone in the comments will say yes, of course it is the best card in this deck, but hey-ho. We've also got a Shatterskull Smashing and a Castle Embereth, but by and large, we don't want to be giving up 3 life, and we would rather have enough lands. 22 lands. Again, is that enough? Well, with the Heraldic Banner, I think it is just about. In the sideboard, we're running a Blazing Volley, a couple of Red Cap melees, a Spiteful Hazard if we do feel like we need that extra land, another Royal Eruption, a couple of Roiling Vortexes to stop the life gain, Scorching Dragonfire if we need to exile creatures, some Shredded Sails against the flyers out there, a couple of Rebukes if we need that 4 direct damage, and some Oxes if there's lots that is stopping us from playing. So, Standard ranked, we are in the Platinum 2 rank at the moment, so we'll just play a few games. I'll move myself. I don't know if this is going to be a good position to be in or not, and we'll see who's around. It may well be that there is no one around, in which case, what you going to do? Okay, Hejuchi. So the way this deck plays is pretty much, obviously as you expect, it's hasty, speed. I think that there is a misconception that red decks can be just very easy to play. You play your cards and you run out of cards and that is that. But actually, I think that's a misconception. So we're going to pump Weaselback. So we're playing a bit of an interesting 4-color rogues. Bit of flash. Who knows what this could be. Next time we can get we probably want to get Annax on board before we get the banner on board. We're not in need of the mana right now. Okay, Bloodchief's Thirst. Sounds good. Well, at this point, the options are we play the banner, but then we can do nothing else. Or we play Annax, with the view that if we can draw a haste creature next turn, then potentially we are in with an Embercleave. Okay, the old Blightfang, but a Death Touch. Yeah, so at this stage, we are just away from doing what we want to do, so we will so we can Royal Eruption something. That's not got Death Touch, but that has. So our best bet here is to hold fire. And pass, I think. This sets us up for a Fervent Champion into an Embercleave next turn. Killing their Enforcer isn't particularly useful. They're not milling us at the moment. Okay. Gives us a creature, which still means we can hit Embercleave. So the great thing about Fervent Champion is you can equip Embercleave for free because it has a 3 less to activate on equipment costs. Luminarch's annoying, but it's not the end of the world. So you need 7. So we are 1 away from Royal Eruption for max, which is fine. So next turn, if nothing else changes, we can deal, what, 4 with the smashing. I think we just need to think about so this is kind of where we win or lose the game. If we attack, they block here. If we move the Embercleave, it doesn't really make a difference. We attack here and we do 1 damage to 3 damage, which isn't enough. I think we're best off paying 3 life, kicking the Royal Eruption, and attacking with everything. Cleans their board out. It's going to be difficult for them to come back from that. Not impossible, I'm sure there's plenty of things in their deck, but we're obviously playing best of 3, hence why I showed you a sideboard. We'll play 1 or 2 games. Okay, interesting. Interesting, so that should... Okay. Well, that'll sort them out on its own. They've got no cards in hand. Okay. So that's why we have the Phoenixes in the deck. So what did we see? We didn't see any life gain. A volley could be useful, but it tends to... I don't know, I think the volley is going to be useful over the Infuriate. The Hazard as well, I think, can replace a Mountain. We didn't see any red. A Royal Eruption. The Royal Eruption was good, I think, over a Prophecy. We didn't see any flying, although they probably have some. I could have put the extra Oxes in as they're doing a bit of mill, but the Ox can be quite... that's perfect. See, so what you aim to do here is to not draw any lands. So, okay. So this is a really stupid thing to keep. No, we can't. We'll have to bottom a Fervent Champion. So 2 Fervent Champions are great. They buff each other and they make it difficult for the opponent. So unfortunately, this thing is bigger than we are. So it is just going to be better. We didn't see any artifacts. We probably should have boarded out the Shield Breaker. I should have thought about Cheville. There's quite a few decks are playing that at this kind of ranking, so... okay, gain a bit of life, draw a card. Lovely. Excellent combination. You got a... interesting, okay. Death Touch. No blocks. Fine by me. So I think... beautiful. That'll get rid of the Cheville next turn. That's the beauty of the robber. So we're getting rid of the Cheville, it's their card draw. We have outs for this aspirant. Robber is so powerful, being able to steal a Bloodchief's Thirst. Pretty crazy. Okay, Scavenger, so another bit of flying. We're going to make it bigger. Kind of switches off the Phoenix play. But if we get a Shredded Sails, then that makes life better. Okay, well we can attack. With the view that we've got the Rimrock Knight. If they want to block. We'd probably just do that anyway. We're not going to play the Phoenix yet. We'll let them attack. Obviously, they're just going to keep buffing the Scavenger, which is going to be annoying, but... okay, so that's 3 Bloodchief's Thirsts in their opening 10 or whatever. And a ram through. Excellent. Probably should have done that after the increase. Would have gained an extra life, but you know, each to their own. Okay. Yeah, so I mean, at this point, it's a scripted set of plays. We're not looking particularly good here. Blocks the Embereth. Okay, so we're going to need some sort of removal for that Scavenger, pretty sharpish, or that's it. I'm not sure what we've got at this point that would do it. Yeah, we're going to get nowhere near enough to double pump the Phoenix. We're down to 2 cards with 4 mana, so it's not crazy, but they're quite a quick deck by the looks of things. We're dead next turn if we can't pull something out of the bag, so... this could well just be a game 3. Yep. Okay. So game 3. I think we can put a couple of Oxes in and another Shredded Sails. In fact, So we made a few different adjustments there just to make sure we've got quite a bit of removal. We don't want to sacrifice creatures really, but I think the Embereth, just we see no artifacts. It's debatable whether or not that should be a main deck card anyway. It may well come out. Okay. So we're going to put the Hellhound out. If they go turn 1 Blood Chief's Thirst, then it is what it is. Next turn we can go Fervent Champion. No, so that's good. No, instead we won't go Fervent Champion, we'll go Robber of the Rich. An extra point of damage, and they've given us a Luminarch, so they're going to want to get rid of the Robber of the Rich, otherwise we take that Luminarch from them, and I have got no issue playing that Luminarch myself. Blood Chief's Thirst is a sorcery, so okay, you get a Wilt as well. So they don't flash in. There we go, they do flash it in. That's fine by me. So we're set up really well here now. An Ember Cleave next turn, and we pretty much have lethal, I think. Okay. So 2, 3. Well, it depends whether or not we get a land as well. I think a land could well be lethal anyway. Okay, kill their own thing. We weren't going to do much better than that anyway last turn. So land. So let's just think this one through. So at the moment we're doing 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I think if we just attack, if they don't block, okay. So I think the other options we've got here are we can play the Hooded Blightfang, which gives us 1 so we need to escape 8 cards. So we're not there at the moment. We could well see a Blightfang of their own. Okay, Death Dweller, fine. So we've got a Death Touch Aspirant, then what, they're going to make the Enforcer bigger? Death Touch Menace on the Aspirant. We'll kill the Aspirant next turn anyway, probably. Yeah, that's fine. So I think that does it anyway, but we'll do this pre-combat. they've got another. Good for them. Okay, out comes the Ox, and that's the game. So, some good sideboarding decisions, and a strong hand. I mean, obviously, mono red on the play, games 1 and 3, we win those games. We up to mull game 2, which isn't ideal. So, yeah, I understand that. We'll get another game in, I think. I understand that mono red isn't a tier 1 deck at the moment, and who knows what will happen post Kaldheim. But I think this is certainly in it for anyone who's looking for like a maybe a starting fairly competitive deck. Anyone who maybe just wants I won't say an easy, but a deck that they can kind of get to grips with fairly quickly. This is a decent deck for it. So we're going to have to get rid of this hand, unfortunately. We will keep this and we'll get rid of one of these Anaxes. It isn't ideal to not have a turn 1 play with a deck that runs so many 1-drops. Okay, so already we should be thinking about okay. Getting rid of the Phoenix. This turn we can go Robber into Fervent Champion. So we got rid of the Crab because Crab can escalate very quickly. But I'm already thinking about bringing the Oxes in because this is clearly a mill deck. Now they may well be black-blue. And they might not have found black mana, which would be a real shame for them. Sending back the Robber, which is frustrating. But unfortunately for them, they did it at the wrong time. We won't let the Bone Crusher off yet. They could well play something. Yeah, they're obviously out of mana. Although they may well be mono blue. Struggling to know what they've got in their hand if so maybe they just drew that. Maybe they just thought it would die straight away. They have to block. I'm not sure that this opponent had got off to the start that they were hoping for. 3 Robbers is pretty scary. Giving me 1 back isn't going to help them at all. Okay, so that's game 1. We drew pretty well. They obviously didn't. I mean, there's quite a lot of things they can be doing. So we're going to want the Oxes. The crabs are annoying. Whether you exile them or not. I don't think the Rimrock Knight's going to be doing much for us. The Hellhounds don't seem to attack into much. Although we can pump that. Ember Shieldbreaker isn't going to be helping us. They're going to have some flyers. No, they're not going to have any flyers because they're not playing black. We didn't see a huge amount, did we, really? We'll leave it at that, and we'll go again. Civilitis. Civilitis, whatever it may be. So we'll mulligan that. Wow. And we'll mulligan that. And we'll end up keeping that. Not a good start for us at all. Down to 5, but it's a better 5 than we could have had. So worst case scenario here is they draw, play a crab, but they would have played the crab before they played the island, so that's fine. Okay, so at this stage, we'll just run out our plays. Our hand is almost online now. That's it. We've got one more land to play, which will switch on the Hellhound. I'd like to see a Teferi's Tutelage, maybe. There it is. So actually milling us is probably for the best because our hand just depletes so quickly. And giving us an Ox to play with in a couple of rounds is going to be good. Okay, so they're on half life. Us milling is not a problem. So we need 8s to switch this on, so we're going to need, yeah, next turn, not this turn, but next turn we're going to see, ooh, what they're going to play, an Into the Royal. Oh, a Maddening Cacophony, milling 8 twice. Well, we get an Ox online, don't we? We might even get 2 Oxes. To make sure we don't get rid of the other Ox. Out comes a 5/3. And we'll end turn being able to kill whatever we need to kill. So they can play that and draw 4 cards. I'm just going to hit him in the brain. Okay. Not a problem. Another counter spell doesn't do it for them. That's game, I think. Depending on what they have. Probably an Into the Royal kicked. Send back the Ox. Brazen Borrower, that's fine. Okay, so there you go. That was 2 best of 3s with this as I call it, red deck gets there. We're nearly at Platinum 1. I'm not sure how far through Diamond this deck will get, but I've really enjoyed playing it. I'll flash the list up again for anyone who wants to see it. Definitely would make changes to this deck, i.e. probably don't need this Shield Breaker in the main, and you can play around with any number. This is kind of evolved over time. Debate over whether or not it should be 4 Ember Cleaves. Debate as to whether or not you need to be running Furas and Infuriates and whatnot, but this is kind of where I've got to. The land count as well. Some people don't feel comfortable unless there's 24 lands in any deck. I've previously run 18 lands, but it gets a little bit light when you want to start to kind of escape Phoenixes and things. But look, I hope you've enjoyed this video. It's been a half-hour little, hopefully entertaining. And I will see you in the next one, hopefully for some Kaldheim soon. Bye.